Okay, let's dive into this. The Nintendo Switch 2 launch games. We got a great source here from GameSpot on YouTube.
Yeah, and it really tries to break down what that day one lineup might actually look like, to different types of games.
Exactly. Our goal here is just to unpack what this source is telling us. Not just a list of games, but the categories, the approach.
Right, because the source says, a whole lot of games,
Yeah.
but it's a real mix. Some new stuff, sure, but lots of older games too.
Okay, and how are those older games being handled? That seems like the interesting part here.
Well, the source highlights a couple of ways. First, for some existing Switch 1 games, the ones getting like a Switch 2 exclusive feature or an enhancement boost,
Uh-huh.
you can upgrade if you already own it.
Oh, okay. So you bring your games forward.
Yes, but, and this is key according to the source, it's for an additional cost.
Ah, not free then.
Nope, not just a free patch because you own the original.
Mm?
And they specifically mention the features and the price. Well, that's going to vary with each game.
Okay, so case by case, that makes sense, I guess, if they're doing significant work. Puts the choice on you, the player.
Exactly. Is that boost worth paying for again?
Right. And then besides those paid upgrades for existing games.
The source also just mentions other older titles coming to Switch 2. Some might even get their very own Switch 2 edition.
So like a separate purchase, maybe for games that didn't get the big enhancement treatment or just older classics?
Yeah, it seems distinct from the paid upgrade path. Maybe more like standard ports or slightly polished versions sold separately.
Okay. And then there was something specific about a classic console, GameCube?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a standout point in the source. GameCube Classics coming day one. Sounds great, right?
It does, but there's usually a catch.
Uh-huh. And the source points it out immediately. They're coming by way of the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack subscription.
Ah, okay. So tied to the subscription service, not standalone purchases.
Correct. You need that higher tier NSO subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very specific about the quantity at launch.
Oh, how many?
The source says just 3 games.
Just 3. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Only 3 GameCube titles via NSO expansion pack at launch. It could be a test or maybe, a deliberate hook to get people subscribing early.
Interesting tactic. Just
Yeah.
3 games behind that paywall initially.
Yeah.
Got it. So we have new games, paid upgrades, maybe separate old editions, subscription classics. What about free stuff? Anything for existing owners?
Yes, actually. On the other side of the coin, the source does mention a positive for current Switch owners.
Good.
A handful of games you might already own on Switch 1. They're getting a free update specifically for the Switch 2.
Okay, free updates for what, though?
The source mentions things like enhanced performance, better frame rates, maybe faster loading, or adding support for features like Game Share.
Oh, Game Share, right. That lets multiple users in a house play the same digital game?
Exactly. A common feature elsewhere, so adding that via free update is like a pretty consumer-friendly move highlighted here.
So putting this all together, what does this source suggest for you, the listener, thinking about Switch 2?
Well, it paints a picture of a launch lineup delivered in layers, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not just one thing. You've got your brand new games to buy, obviously.
Right. Then the option to pay again for enhanced versions of games you might already have.
Plus maybe buying other older games as like new Switch 2 editions.
And then key classics, like those first few GameCube games locked behind that NSO expansion pack subscription.
And finally, a few free performance or feature updates for games you own.
It's definitely not a simple buy console, play game scenario based on this source. It's a bit more complex, an ecosystem of access.
Okay, let's quickly recap the types of launch content this source points to. New games, paid upgrades for some older titles, older games potentially sold as new editions, GameCube classics via NSO subscription, just 3 at launch, and a handful of free performance updates.
That covers the main categories and the specific limitations mentioned, yeah.
So, thinking about this mix, paid upgrades, subscriptions, free updates, new games, what does this kind of multi-channel approach to content suggest about Nintendo's overall strategy for the Switch 2 launch?
Well, it definitely suggests they're thinking hard about how to leverage their back catalog and their online service right from the start, alongside the new stuff. It's more than just selling new games, isn't it? It's about managing access and value across their whole library. Definitely something to keep thinking about.